watched it on here that responsible for the dam building, engineering, but they were military men with a military train of thought. I'm going to read an editorial from May 4th, 1964, from the Warren Times Mirror. And there was a big conference, economic conference, what they're going to do for economic resources for the dam. Well, of course, the Seneca Nation had to be included because it was along our land. But also there was a Colonel Jameson there from the Corps of Engineers. And in this editorial, the Warren Times Mirror is taking this colonel to task for some of the remarks that he made at this meeting, which Jameson said charged the Seneca Indians who had been kicked off their land as a matter of routine, if the press had not made a big deal out of it. As a matter of routine, a military man speaking like that. Native Americans, what does he mean a matter of routine? Militarily? You know, I look back at what the military has done to Native people across the country prior to, and I look at Wounded Knee. Is that a matter of routine? So, you know, we have an Army colonel, and they got to take into effect, Custer's last stand was even 100 years old yet. So was that military thinking as a matter of routine, we'll burn us out, get us out of there, and put us in internment camps, so decide what you're going to do with us? You know, that's a scary statement to be made. I don't have a problem with engineers, but when you have military people in charge of it, that was a train of thought in 1964. Our sacred treaty was under attack by the financial institutions, the bureaucracy institutions, the political institutions of this country. And the reason that we won some battles was because there were people that had that thought of that treaty as a moral obligation. There was the father of the country, George Washington. By the way, the Seneca word for the president is Nundagonos. Seneca means he burns villages. But that was from the Sullivan campaign. So when we talk about the president's Nundagonos, but people, General Eisenhower, President Eisenhower he vetoed the first appropriation bill because he knew it was going to abrogate that treaty would break George Washington's word. So Eisenhower was a man of morality, wanted to do the right thing. And if you look back at, what was this, beware of the military industrial, you know, what does that mean? It was right between the eyes that got us. So we still hold that treaty sacred today, November 11th. We have a treaty commemoration parade and speech making and whatnot in Canada, well attended. But every November 11th, there's some kind of representative from the United States there, whether it be a staff member or whatever. But the first question he asks is, who's here from the United States, representing the United States? And some people step forward, give a little speech. Every year we get a nudie cloth. It might not be much, it's just plain Muslim, but the significance of it is that the United States still honors that treaty. And we as Seneca still honor ourselves by going to pick that nudie cloth up. So I look at that film and I lived it. I was 17 years old at the time, watched my home burn. My mother got me, I stayed in that home as long as I could. She said, you gotta come back, you gotta move out of there and come up to the new house. And I don't know, a couple of days later, they burned the house. You know, I could tell you stories that I got two friends, they were having a couple of beers, and they're older guys, and they were burning houses, and they decided there's no Army Corps going to burn our house, they're going to burn it down themselves. So when they mention Army Corps of Engineers, it's really a sore point with a lot of the older generation. we had, I can remember 15, 16 years old, some of our Seneca older ladies chasing them off their property with brooms. Whacking them with brooms, get off our property, so. But, you know, you heard on there that, you know, we call it Mother Earth. And when we have ceremonies, we have a speechmaker who gets up and says, "Gnonio" in Seneca, and it's thanking Mother Earth and the universe around us for all that is given us. So, but I just wanted to pass that on. If anybody's got any questions, they've got stories to tell. Yes.
I had gotten to the inside of the Corps of Engineers away from here. I was down in Ohio when I got. Is this better? Okay. I got from the inside to the Corps of Engineers away from this area. Basically, the Corps wasn't very honest with people up here. But part of the things they talked about was to have effective flood control with the dam, you had to be within 50 miles of the city. This stuff about this being flood control up here is garbage for Pittsburgh. You've had big floods since then. The next thing they talked about was people notice, they start lowering the water level on Kinzoo mid-August to mid-September. They're using that water down to keep the locks going between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. That was one of the big things that they wanted the dam for, was to keep the locks going, so the steel companies at the time could get ore up the river and get steel down the river. My big question to the Corps guys at the time was, how many steel plants are left in Pittsburgh? I was asking this about 1990. And of course they said, there isn't any. And I said, well, would the dam be built today? And he said, no.
You know, one of the things about the Kinzoo is that during the summer months, the Allegheny River would get so low down around Pittsburgh, and all the environmental from the coal mines and the ore mines and whatnot would leak into the river, and it would actually rust the barges.
Yes.
It would rust the barges, and the reservoir acted as a water source to dilute the pollution coming from the mines.
That's why they didn't want that Conowongo thing to go through, because they wanted to keep the water up here so they could flush things out and keep the locks going.
You mentioned Conowongo. Our Seneca name for this village is Conowongo. It means rapid water. Conowongo. Pittsburgh, Jondagan, Cold Spring, Jonegano, Corn Planter. So,
Well,
when we talk about Corn Planter, this is an interesting story about the Kinzoo. Corn Planter was buried on his land, and it came time for grave removal. And the Corps of Engineers were so afraid that Corn Planter would be a focal point, a focus point on protesters, and they didn't want any kind of upheaval. And there was a person from Salamanca who owned property where Webb's Ferry is right now, and he wanted to donate that land to rebury Corn Planter there. Well, when the Corps found out about it, they condemned that land and made that little boat landing out of it. And so, basically in the middle of the night, the Corps of Engineers relocated Corn Planter to Corydon without the okay of the Corn Planter heirs. And of course, nobody really thought about it, but they removed Corn Planter there without any permission. So about 20 years ago, the Corydon Cemetery was eroding, and there was going to be a big meeting over in the Haley Building at Seneca Nation, and the Corps of Engineers showed up with a team of attorneys, and here's some Senecas waiting for them, and what they were going to talk about was the erosion of the Corydon Cemetery. But the Army Corps of Engineers thought it was going to be about relocating Corn Planter and raising some old issues. So even 25 years ago, there was a conflict there, and the Corps of Engineers still worried about Corn Planter and what that meant to other Senecas, and him being a focal point even today. American Legion, Corn Planter, American Legion pools. You go further down, Cayusuta, Corn Planter's uncle, I think there's fire companies, schools named after guys who do this. So the Seneca history along the river, you know, it runs deep. And the Corps of Engineers, I don't know whether it's cowboys and Indians with them back in the day or whatever. It's just, it's better to, it's a matter of routine. You know, those are scary words. So I talked about my father being the narrator of Land of Our Ancestors, and I never saw my father cry, I never saw him break down. He got halfway through the speech after and held his eyes and walked off, and I never felt so much anger. I cried myself, and if somebody would have reached over and punched him. But, you know, that's the feeling yet today. There's a lot of people have a mistrust of the Corps of Engineers. You know, I say the United States is in the business of building dams and doing harnessing energy. Put it in civilian hands. Leave the military to the military things, not over civilians. So.
Well, one of the things I asked the Corps people I was dealing with is Kinzu a white elephant now? And they basically said they wouldn't respond. They would not respond to this.
We have any other questions out there?
Yeah, we do have one. I'm getting the mic to her.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask, what was the alternative route that that the Seneca wanted to offer up? And I also wanted to tell you my mother was full-blooded Seneca. All 5 of her children are here today, all of us right here, and we are the Bear Clan. So yes, and I also wanted to tell you, as the dam was going on, my mother was having each one of us. So at 57, I was born. My brother was born at 60. So I really never knew all this, what do you want to call, negativity to the great length that I saw in this program tonight. And I'm only half, but it saddens me that this stuff is still going on today. And to feel, I was volunteering somewhere in the Corps of India, what you were talking about came in, and he was telling a story about how the Senecas don't like them. I get it now. I totally understand. So the next time I see him, I'm not going to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Explain it to him.
Yeah, exactly. So if you would tell me what the alternative route was that we wanted to offer, I'd like to know. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for the question. Morgan actually came up with multiple plans because the plans were continually rejected as unfeasible. But the main route, they were going to build basically a slate feeder canal out of the Allegheny that would drain into the Conewango Valley. And it was a natural depression, geological depression from the Ice Age, I believe. And then it would take the, which creek was it, Scotty? Takes not Cattaraugus Creek. It would take a creek out. Was it Silver Creek? Would take that would be the actual drainage out of the Conewango Reservoir into Lake Erie. The excess water would go out through that creek. But Morgan actually he came up with multiple plans. Each one at every turn was rejected, and